Recording has restarted. All right, we're back after a quick break.
So some trailing true speech. Can I make out what those underlying true speech words are?
Linguistics.
Probably not my strongest suit, and that is fine. I do not have it on the quick ref, so let's bring up OneNote. Come on, OneNote. OneNote's kind of struggling today. Let's see here. Linguistics. Plus 13. That's not terrible. 23.
No, it's not something. It happened quickly. It was barely perceptible, and your ability went as far as just identifying what it was, not what it was saying.
Okay.
Okay. You've spied upon Bukrabek. You've spied upon Ezri.
Let's peek in on the professor and Zephyros just to make sure they're okay, that they're not really struggling in there.
Okay, there is trumpeting fanfare as Zephyros is flying into this beautiful place filled with gleaming and glistening banners and crowds of Fant, as well as inherited races in this Serengeti-looking type place with an exotic city. This golden sun in the horizon, sort of cresting over these beautiful hills, is sparkling down upon the scene. Of course, Zephyros is not walking; he's gliding. He's got his hands out, and people are cheering. There's trumpeting going on, big baritone sounds that the Fants might enjoy, and it looks like Zephyros has had his tusks replaced with platinum facsimiles.
Very nice.
There is a regal aura about the Fant that Zephyros doesn't often portray. He's actually quite, I don't know, stuffy and reserved compared to this version of Zephyros.
I'm going to cast another comprehend languages and keep an ear out for true speech undertones in this one.
Okay. You comprehend languages. Does that allow you to also read?
That is a good question.
I think so.
You understand the spoken words or read otherwise incomprehensible written languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a strange script that is along the tusks of Zephyros.
Ah. Yeah, I'll move in a little bit closer. I'll fly a mask over and see if I can read them.
It says in some... It's Fant. You think it's... I'm going to wait for Neil to return to this. Oh, no. Maybe he doesn't realize what's written on his tusk. If it was written on his face, you wouldn't know. So... It says, "My name is Zephyros, King of Kings. Look upon my deeds, ye mighty, and rejoice."
Nice. Ozymandias? That's awesome.
And those words have true speech incorporated into them.
The dust?
The dusty true speech is incorporated into that saying.
So, am I reading something that is written in true speech?
No, you're reading some sort of high fant or
Okay.
a
Yeah.
fant language, and then behind it there is something that's still not immediately perceptible to you, but you get the same feeling about one thing that Ezri said. This thing seems to be the concentration of the dust, as well as something that is being enhanced by true speech.
Okay. Okay. So this seems to be like a wish for, like some true wish manifest in some dream. How strange. Okay. Okay. And Zephyros seems to be, he's uninjured. He seems to be doing well, in fact.
He seems to be fine. If anything, this would be a very triumphant, happy dream.
Yeah. Like, if they don't wake up after a reasonable amount of time, we might need to find a way to pull them out, but they're not.
Oh,
like,
the trumpeting and the trumpeting and the drums and Zephyros fireballing this great golden fireball that he flies through. It's like you get this feeling that everything that he's struggled for has culminated in this moment.
Are you here to stay, Zephyros?
Do I answer him or not?
Well, you actually hear Pharisai's voice amongst the voice of thousands of people that have turned out for your coronation as King of Heshmalah. You're in the middle of the coronation. Are you answering your friend Pharisai and her little inane questions?
I think he's too busy getting crowned.
I will come back after your coronation and see if you can rejoin us.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll let my guards let you in.
Thank you. I am impressed with your works. I have looked upon them, and it brings me joy.
Look at these people. It brings them joy too.
It does. We will make it true. We will make it so.
Yes, we will.
All right. I'll check in on the professor then.
Okay. As joyous and relieving and powerful as the other dreams are, the nightmare that is the professor's dreaming is, you weren't quite ready for it. Oh, the screams and murmurs of people in torment. Not only physical torment, perhaps the torment of them dying before their works are complete and knowing that their works will never be complete because they weren't able to complete them, has physically manifested into discomfort as there is a mountain of twisted souls and people in this horrible place. You can hear this really awful cackling or language as abyssal trumpets almost like announce something's coming. There's storm-filled skies, and you can see that there's a figure atop of this place that seems to be writing madly on this scroll that has bounded down the mountainside of these twisted corpses. You immediately get the sense that there's not enough time. Every single test or hurry or a market about to close, every experience that Pharisai's ever had where she's been anxious about time is coming at you in waves, almost like regret with every thunderclap in this horrible sky. There is this horrible lightning bolt / dark finger that looks like it's reaching down towards the figure that is on top of the mountain, and then there's a flash of recognition. That's the professor, who's sitting atop of this mountain of bodies, who's madly writing with his bony hand with this really large quill on this scroll that seems to be unfurling at great length. He's sitting beside the scroll tube, and the rest of him looks like he's... the other side of the mountain looks like it's a mountain of books that are continuously appearing and sliding down one side of the hills, and he's trying to read the books as they're disappearing. It looks like he's doing page-bound epiphanies on additional books, like they're flipping so quickly, but they're always just slipping out of view, like he's getting partial knowledge or not quite the whole thing, and not enough time to absorb it. The weird thing about the professor, he does not look like Scholar Henry. In fact, you didn't recognize the professor at first because he's, how should we say, very sick looking. And more of his flesh along one side of his body has disappeared to bone.
So an older version of the professor as necromancer.
You do notice that part of his face has given way to that of something skeletal, and that the eye on that one side has a pinpoint of cruel light for an eyeball.
Professor, the only way to have enough time is to stop dying, isn't it?
Yes, if only I could solve that one piece. If only I can become ascendant, there'll be all the time in the verse. Yes.
There's this horrible language you speak Hadean, do you?
Do I speak it? What do I speak? I comprehend it, certainly.
Okay, that's right. So you hear some sort of deific voice is granting the professor power.
Oh, interesting. That's not ideal, is it?
It's fueling the nightmare, and some of the true speech in this place is under this deity's voice. Give me a knowledge religion.
This is what you want, isn't it, Professor?
Yes, more time. Yes, I want more time.
37.
All right, I've just sent you a text about what the professor might be changing into.
Yep, that makes sense. Yep. Is there any of that dust bound to what he's writing on the scroll?
Okay, so you brave yourself as you now are flying up this really high landscape made of shifting bodies and horrible waves of anxious regret. I should have started earlier, like this sort of this horrible moan. You get up to the professor, and it's going too quick. He's writing too fast. He's reading too fast for you to get a glimpse of what exactly it is. It's just an endless stream of knowledge, and some of it might actually be like inconsequential.
Sure.
Most of the things that you heard the professor complaining about archaeology, and that most of the writings you find end up just being grocery lists.
Oh yeah.
Tallies of who owes what when, like that sort of thing. It's the stuff that Bucherbeck would like.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's searching for answers amongst this stuff, and then the bony hand, you don't even know what it's writing. It's got the worst doctor scrawl that ever was. No, the black dust is coming from this energy that is sparking down from the sky and empowering this madness.
Yeah. I'm gonna look for one more thing while I'm here before I leave. This does seem like it's in character for the professor, so I'm not gonna try and force him out of it.
Not really concerned.
Make sure he doesn't get stuck here forever too. Do I see anything lurking? Anything lurking and watching that seems like it's not necessarily controlled by the professor?
Yeah,
a lot of this looks like it's manifestations of the professor.
The thing in the clouds that is fueling this engine is not the professor's dream.
Ah, excellent.
Ooh, sweet.
You know that the professor has angered and made contact with other entities, and you suspect that one or many of them are feeding this.
Yes. Ah, how interesting.
The professor pauses for a moment, and you found something interesting in the writing.
Yeah.
The professor has. There's the beginning of a formula for a cocktail. The bony hand begins to write down the formula in the professor's more meaningful writing.
Yeah.
And the professor, the books all begin to pile up, and they're sliding down the mountainside. And for some reason, this one formula seems to be suitable enough for his attention to allow all those other books to go meandering away.
An alchemical formula?
It is an alchemical formula.
Huh. Does it look like some of the things he was mixing before?
Do you have any knowledge, or do you have craft alchemy?
Nah.
He's using this weird shorthand for ingredients.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Knowledge arcana?
Knowledge arcana is actually. Wait a second. Knowledge arcana is actually very good. Let me take a quick look at this. This is 12, 20. Yeah, this is actually okay. 1d20 plus 30. 31.
You get the sense it's a very dangerous thing for a living creature to drink.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a drink, maybe it's an oil, but you get the sense that some of the ingredients are toxic.
Right. That feels like it might be related to the ritual that he's undergoing here. And perhaps would allow him to start doing that in the world.
Hey, by this point in time, you kind of want to be out of here. This place is making your high turn almost sickly, and you feel that you're in danger of being pulled up into the dark clouds with the lightning hand. You don't want to be anywhere near this. This is not.
Let's get out. Yeah,
this is not your thing.
Yeah. It can be the professor's thing, but yeah.
Okay, you return to a manor that is quite quiet. Thurgus is still standing guard outside. Meanwhile, Thurgus, when you're standing, relatively alone, Makarnam is a spittoon. Your spell is keeping you from going to sleep, but that doesn't seem to be stopping the hallucinations.
Okay.
You see this man. You've heard about orcs before. There might be some in the pearls somewhere. It looks like this orc warrior. He's striding upon what sounds like the edge of a battlefield, maybe before armies have clashed. You can hear them yelling at each other in strange tongues. You don't recognize the place. You get the sense that the place is far, far away. Let me find a token of what this man looks like. He's talking to some of his companions. You get the sense that there are heroes, that he is one of them. He has at his belt the Darkstar. For some reason, this man is much, much larger than his other companions. He's almost like some sort of exotic giant. You know who he is, but you don't. Like, he seems familiar. He yells in this strange tongue, but you get the gist of what he's saying, is that the heroes had somewhere else to be, but you knew that you were standing on one side of this war, and he wanted to save as many of the soldiers on his side as possible. He did a thing where he said, "I'll handle this," while his heroes went off and fought some dark thing on the edge of the battlefield. But in this moment of hubris, he did something that he shouldn't have. While he looked like he was a man that fought with his fists, that was orderly, monk-like even, he drew the sword and decided to try to use the sword in combat. At this point in time, something happens to him, something that he was holding back. He changes into a bear-like man, but instead of using his claws and teeth, uses the blade, and in great berserking bloodbath, ends up wading into the opposing army, and none of the other soldiers could stand against him. None of them could hit him, as monks with high ICs often. And
It's a proper fucking bear.
But even as they retreated, he continued to butcher them with this blade. And the blade, it looks like, drove him mad to the point where not only were the fields full of hacked corpses, but the sky went red, the clouds weeped blood, and your something dark took notice. Thurgus, give me a knowledge religion.
What's religion? Let's see here.
You can have a +8.
24.
You think you've seen a scene from your god's past when he was immortal.
Ooh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's a proper fucking bear.
As your god, while he was immortal, was a strange man who turned into a bear and then butchered 10,000 people on the opposing battlefield, and kept on fighting until he could lift the blade no more. You know that when he finally fell, it was due to exhaustion. It was not because any arrow or blade had hit him. the blade trembling but still clenched in his hand, and you felt it. You felt that he had made a sacrifice or an atrocity so great that he gained the attention of something that would be his undoing. A hidden shame of your god, perhaps, or maybe a parable? You'll have to chew on this some more.
Do I recall anything about the blood bear wielding a black blade? Because I was under the impression he wielded like a spear or something.
Yeah. This was during the time when he was not quite deity yet.
Like he gave up the sword at some point thereafter?
Or maybe the sword made him perform such an atrocity.
Hmm.
And I think Ahmed will enjoy this scene.
Did it look like he was regretful when he did it? Or did he just like...
It looks like he
Go
lost.
all in.
It looks like he lost himself in the second he drew the blade. It's like he lost himself in a fury. It was even worse than a rage. You're pretty sure he might have even killed people on his own side. Just anything that came across him.
I see. Wow. That feels like a bit much. Just like looking around at this field of blood.
Yeah, you don't know where you are. The stars are different. It feels like it was long ago. You snap back when Makarnam must have moved because the spittoon is over there now.
I'm awake.
Oh. Is it time for sleeping yet?
Mockernum, I've got things out here. If you want to take a nap, just go inside.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Makarnam ends up going in as Pharisee. You've withdrawn from the Dreamers.
Yeah.
It's time for me to take a nap.
It's a dangerous nap, but one that will be pleasant for you, I think.
Oh.
Just remember to come back to us, Makranam. We really enjoy spending time with you out here. The only way we'll actually escape is together.
Okay.
These dreams, they're only deeper in.
My stomach's get
Don't be
bigger.
out.
I haven't filled them yet, so yeah.
Good. Well, sleep then.
Okay, Makarnam goes and finds a place to sleep. Pharisee, are you succumbing to the dream, or are you staying awake?
I think I will succumb to the dream.
Okay.
I think we are going to need to pull people out, maybe, but I think I know what I'm doing.
All right.
Let's see.
With only
You got this.
Give me a. Since you kind of know, and you have this symbol of Iambulus, right?
I do. Yes.
What were the powers of that symbol? It gave you a +10 on perceptions and
+5 on perception and let you keep a stat in the dreaming.
Okay. So give me a character level check.
Okay.
You can add 4 because of the symbol of Iambulus, and you can add another 4 because you kind of know that going into this dream and piloting it a bit might be helpful.
Okay. 34.
Okay. What does Pharisee dream about? deep within the dreaming, under the influence of the highly magical strain
Yeah.
lotus dust within the magnificent mansion inside the Dread Realm.
I think Pharisee dreams about just being a seed drifting through the pearls, maybe in the dream, maybe not. Finally landing on a dark, desolate pearl that's garden. And the seed takes root and garden begins to glow again. And as the roots grow, the roots start to tap into other pearls and other pearls and other pearls. And the great trees of the pearls become a part of a network. Finally, a taproot keeps going and going and going through the Carcerian wastes and burrowing into the fabric of the plane itself to try to touch what's outside.
Ooh, interesting. Good thinking.
Pharisee really wishes Garden were still around. That was such a traumatic sort of thing. And also is afraid of being trapped in here in a realm of dead pearls and once out. And of course, carries the seed of Yggdrasil, which would very much like to grow again and connect things.
Okay. Give me a perception check. See if you notice something in your own dreaming. Oh no, we lost connection. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording.